BigHerc916. You're tuned into another edition of Muscle Up Car Lifestyle with Car Talk, episode 5. I'm here with my man Mike Escobar and my man Debo, our special guest today. And we're going to get into it. We're going to, talk about the car culture. Debo is well-versed in the car culture, car clubs, lowrider community. And, we're going to get into it. Mike, if you have anything you want to, ask as far as Debo and the lowrider community. I know you're in the lowrider community, but he's been in it pretty deep, man. And some of the stuff we've talked about off camera is crazy, man. As far as like things he's seen and how they get out. He said basically that some of these car clubs are like basically car gangs.
Damn, that's crazy because you might have heard of them. I used to belong to a car club called Uso Car Club. I was one of the original 5 chapters when they first started. The mother chapter was in the harbor area. We started a San Francisco chapter. One of the cousins, the Samoan dude, asked me, hey, you want to help start it? Yeah, sure. I was like 18 years old, 19. And I remember part of it back then, especially over there, not so much us, but part of the rules was like, if you are not active in a gang, ex-gang member, you can join, but you can't flag your colors no more. You got to be out of a gang. That was like well said, because I was like, I ain't joining no club if it's gang affiliated. I don't want to be in no gang. But I see some shit at the shows though, man. There's a lot of chest puffing, a lot of this, that. I don't know what the culture is like in Miami though, because I know the California like lowrider culture. I mean, I'm in San Jose, bro. This is like the birth of lowrider right here. Literally Cinco de Mayo next weekend. King of Stories where it all started. Lowrider magazine. So we're the birth of it right here. Us in SoCal. So what's it like in Miami?
I mean, Miami to me is would be like the equivalent to what lowriding is in LA, or even you say San Jose, because San Jose, I mean, has an extensive history. Most of the Chicanos from LA that migrated to Northern California, that's where they, settled in San Jose. So, always heard of those stories like Mission Boulevard and, San Francisco. My grandfather used to live there. My family used to live in Sacramento. So this is going back in the 60s, and my grandfather used to tell me like San Jose, San Francisco, those were like big lowriding hubs. Miami was like one of the first cities on the East Coast that actually established a lowrider scene. And much of LA culture, I would say, was emulated by, Miami lowrider enthusiasts. So that was the first city where you saw, California candy paint jobs. That was the first city that actually had LA chapters, LA car club chapters. Uso was one of the first ones. Individuals, rollers only.
Yeah, I know they are. Yep.
And lowriders always been kind of like, like a syndicate of, California. It's had its own thing, but I just think like with a lot of the Hispanic community, a lot of those guys that came from like Texas, and then, you just had like the Cuban guys, they were just big into it. And Miami's since I was a kid, man, in the 80s, Miami's always been like, I would say a good maybe 10, 15 years behind California as far as like low riding trends.
Yeah, are you guys into the like the style of low rides like we do out here, like the candy, not just the candy paint, but the ghost graphics and all that?
I would say in recent years, because there's so many different styles here in Florida. I feel like you have like East Coast mini trucking style. A lot of those guys that came from the mini truck culture, they incorporated a lot of that paint style into the cars. Now with like the ghost graphics, as far as like doing the pearl blends and the candy paint and then the murals, stuff took a long time to come into fruition over here. There are a few guys here on the East Coast collectively that can do it. And you see, like I said, you see it, but it's not, to me, where it's like synchronized. Everyone still has their own style, but there's a few dudes that can shoot a California style candy, and there's some muralists out here that can give you almost a West Coast depiction of a quality finished mural. And it's only on one hand you could count them.
Wow.
Yeah. That takes a special skill, man, right there to do that, because there's not a lot of good muralists. I don't know. I've been out of that game so long. I don't know if Herc told you, but I'm part of the muscle car community.
Okay.
And been out of the lowrider community for many years now, but I still see it. It's all around me. We're still lightweight affiliated to it because we know the president of the San Jose Lowrider Council. Sometimes he wants to collaborate with my car club. I'm part of Timeless Car Club. We're old school car club, mainly muscle cars, just old school, some trucks, but that's what we're mainly into. But I love the game. I just don't love what comes with that lowrider game. A lot of chest puffing still, that I see. A lot of the gang culture is still closely tied with the lowriding community. And that's why I kind of separated myself from that community, because I'm like, I'm not with this. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how it is on the East Coast. If it's the same way they try to bring the gang culture into the lowrider community, how it works out there.
Well, on the East Coast, it's a street culture. So, you always get like the commercialized PSA that, hey, man, it's all one love. It's no gangs, it's no race. No, man, it's politics. Yeah. And when the politics come into play, things now get very tricky and untrustworthy. And you have to use discernment when you walk into these landscapes, because you might step on a landmine. And, in the streets, you hear that saying, every homie ain't a homie. And that's how it is in the lowrider game. Not every homie's a homie. People love you today and they gonna hate you tomorrow. And, when you come into your blessing, where it's like, okay, man, I finished my karma on the streets, man, the hate it's crazy, man. The things people say about each other, and I would hear things where guys would say things about other people, or, conspire to do a brother dirty. And, in the back of your mind, you're like, man, I know they over here talking crazy about me too. Yeah, it's like you say, I think just even more than just the games, I think, if you look at it from like a very educated perspective, you start to look at people more than, collective entities. You start to look at individuals and where they come from. There's rotten apples coming from all of these different places and all these different people. There's a Shady. Like they say, the world is a ghetto. The ghetto is like it's widespread. That's what lowrider taught me. It taught me that it didn't matter. It doesn't matter if that guy comes from the suburbs, if he's Caucasian, if he's Black, Hispanic. The ghetto vibration is everywhere, and the shadiness is everywhere. So like I said, you just have to use discernment. And you have to be someone that knows how to assess character. So like I said, you don't get caught up in somebody ends up victimizing you.
Wow.
What is some of the crazy stuff you've experienced or seen in that community when it comes to getting a car built? Because like to get a really nice muscle car built, people are like, oh man, I'm gonna give me an old school. I'm like, dude, to get it really nowadays, a decent performing suspension, brakes, motor, you're gonna spend, dude, you're gonna spend at least probably about $100,000. It's 70,000, 60,000. You're gonna get something, and you're gonna have to put AC in it, suspension in it. You're gonna have to change the seats and add a stereo. So people think, oh man, I get it for 60. Man, you're not gonna get what I got for 60 grand. You're gonna spend $100,000, and then you start talking about like supercharge, all that. You're going to be $250,000. You're going to be up there when you talk, power windows, fuel cell, all that stuff. So in the lowrider community, what is it? What are you looking to spend? And what is some of the things? Because in the muscle car community, bro, I mean, I'm just now getting my car, hopefully, fingers crossed, out of electronic jail. And dude, then I got to go back to the paint guy. But these dudes, bro, they handcuff your cars, man, and it takes everything in your power not to want to bust somebody upside the head.
Yeah, true. Big statement right there. Look, I'm gonna show mine. What I got probably a little over 200 in it.
Oh wow, man! Oh, that's beautiful.
It's been a SEMA 10 years ago, but I broke it down and went crazy, upgraded all kinds of everything, horsepower, motor, you name it, suspension.
And how long has your car been in the shop, Mike?
Been in jail 7 years, dog.
And see, you know what?
Hopefully she gets paroled soon. She's close though. She's close.
You know what though? I after listening to I listen to car stuff all during the day when I'm working. I don't feel bad because the average person I hear, they say anywhere, unless you're fucking, a Kevin Hart or somebody, but the average person, it takes like 5 years, 3 years if you're really lucky, 18 months if you're like, and that's 18 months is for a driver. I mean, somebody get in and out, and you're lucky if they got all the parts. But typically in the muscle car community, you're talking, if you're building, probably like 3-4 years. It's not like a turnkey type situation. So people think, oh, unless you go buy something done. And a lowrider community, I would think like most of those guys, like in the muscle car community, you don't want to buy somebody else's shit. You want to have your own personality out there. So, how does that work, Debo? Do people, going through the process about what would you spend? And then do people want to buy somebody else's lowrider and roll around in their shit knowing that it's been at all these shows?
There used to be this slogan, built, not bought. And then, as years progress, you start to get different people coming from different professional backgrounds, people like Currency, the Wiz Khalifas. They started to get heavy into purchasing lowriders, and they revised it, bought, not built. And the reason being is because the headache of building a car, many of those people that you go to for their services, they're not widespread. We're not in an era where, you had that older guy who knew how to create body lines from a newspaper. That skill is almost extinct. And then, you factor in, like we were talking off camera about, trade schools, a lot of those things have diminished. So, sustaining that trade where it would be, utilized in this space, like I say, it's not something that's widespread. So, when it takes a long time for your car to get built, it's because those people who provide those services, you can only single-handedly verify those people. And, anybody that, prides himself as saying, I'm a lowrider, they're going to want to build their car. But the truth is, it's going to take, man, sometimes it might take 10 years. It might take 10 years, man. And, when we're talking about like someone who actually lives a honest, wholesome life where, hey, man, you got to pay your bills. There's a lowrider saying pay the chrome bill before the phone bill. No, pay your phone bill before your chrome bill. Pay your rent, pay your mortgage, because no one respects a man who can't pay his bills. And there's a lot of guys out there who have, $100,000 cars, but they don't have nowhere to live.
Or live in apartments and shit, be flossing with their badass cars. We used to see that with ballers back then. They got a Mercedes and chains and watches. Bro, you live in an apartment though, dog. What are you doing? You should be having a house first. Then get your whips later. They do ass backwards.
Yeah, well, the game, it doesn't really teach us financial literacy. It teaches us, materialism, popularity, but you never really get the game on, how to transcend into a responsible adult, because, the game is based on being irresponsible. It's really like a teenage thing. That's what lowriding was. It was for the youth, and that mindset never went away. So, those guys who were like doing it on that level, hey, man, I got the houses and stuff. They're in their own little sector. You see them every now and then, but most times the popular guys, they don't really have it together. Many of us don't.
What do you think the average budget is for like a nice lowrider? And I don't know what nice be considered in that community, but I've seen some like at the Pomona Roadster show. I've seen some like, just like some really sick ones on Van Nuys when I used to live in the Valley, on cruise night. I mean, what are these guys putting into these cars? I mean, what are you looking at? Paint and body, motor, pumps. What does that add up to?
Man, these days, I mean, when I came in the game, 20 years ago, you could build the lowrider. Like, I mean, this is just a basic lowrider. Paint, switches, rims, mild chrome, undercarriage, $10 to $15,000, and that was you could get a whole lot for a little. Now, nah, those days are gone. You're gonna spend, I say, 60, 70,000 or more. And some people might, see this video and they're gonna say, "Oh, nah, man, I could build a car for a whole lot less." But that's you being your own resource. When you have to deal with other people, you might pay for one service 2-3 times, because that guy's going to definitely juice your pockets, and that's just what the game is about. Leverage. Let me leverage your pocket to go and, pay this shop bill. Let me leverage your pocket to go and pay for the paint for the next customer's car. That's why I say, the game is like a Ponzi scheme. You're buying into something, but, you don't always get back what you put in. So this is why everything is so inflated as far as cost,
Well, when you're talking about like a mural paint job, I mean, like, some of those paints I've seen at like the super shows is crazy, man, with the murals. What does something like that run with, with the stripes, the candy, what does somebody paying for something like that?
I mean, it all depends on the person who's doing it. I remember there was a guy from LA. He came out to New York and he did some work for a club member of ours, and they never really negotiated on a price. But when it was all said and done, this guy, he painted and patterned the whole entire car. And the painter told me, he said the guy paid for his ticket, gave him like $200 and sent him on his way. But if you would have saw the work, I mean, just based on the standard, you probably pay. I mean, it to me was like a $10,000, pattern job. And there's guys, that's what they start at, anywhere $10,000 to $20,000 to do, a pattern job these days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about what I would say in the muscle car community. Because I mean, the last car I got painted was around 10 racks, and then it goes up from there depending on how much body work and how many coats of clear. Then all that adds up. Because people think, oh man, I can get a good paint job for like $3,000, $2,500. I'm like, dude, you're not. I mean, are they basically masking off everything, not taking off anything? I mean, are they prepping the car? It's like, these cars that go to SEMA and, you talking about like good guys at the high level, those paint jobs, 50 racks, 30 racks, I mean, a nice interior dude was telling me they start off at, one dude was saying, man, these guys start off at 30,000, and that's for 2 seats and no back seat. So, I know the game has changed. There still are people who can do your interior maybe for like, 3, 4, 5,000. But I know like certain shops, just because, and they got people who are going to pay it, they charge that.
DJ Designs, my boy DJ Designs out here. He's got a SEMA award. He does a lot of work for East Bay Muscle Cars. So I passed off my 68 Camaro to a friend of mine in Sacramento. He took over the build, took over the project. And he quoted my boy. Check this out. Hold on to your seat for this one. Quoted my boy, do everything. I'm talking everything. Seat, system, the whole shebang, dash, everything. Custom trunk, everything. $150.
Damn!
150 pulled me out of the seat. 150. I thought he was gonna say like 50. All right, that's probably about right. Dude, he said $150. I go, whew. I ain't never heard no shit like that. But he's getting
Wait a minute, bro. $150. That's only interior.
Interior, seats now, everything from scratch. Built seats, dash, panels, system. What else? Probably console.
Is he rewiring the whole car?
That I do not know.
I mean, dude, you're talking about, because I mean,
top. He's doing the convertible top, but still, I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Because you can go already get the seats. You already have seats.
Yeah, you have the shell.
Rewrap them. Or you can get the 2 front Recaro seats and rewrap them to your liking and do the back seats to your liking because you already have the template for the back.
What kind of car was it going in? What kind of muscle car?
68 Camaro drop top.
Damn.
He does. You know what it is? He does a lot of fab work on the dash, the console. He does shit. He does crazy work. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but even that, I've seen like that guy. What's his name? Stitch by Slick, and like what's the guy in San Bernardino who does all the guy
Gabe's Interiors.
Gabe. I mean, dude, he does sick ass shit. I mean, and I talked to Gabe's cousin out, and he's got his relatives. They Armando's Customs. They do interior, but I mean, dude, like you spend like 40, 50 rand, you get like the works. I mean, billet knobs and all that. So you say 150, goddamn, what are you? I mean, God, that's no.
He blew me away. I'm like, he didn't want to do your car, or he's just so swamped to work you through your crazy number.
God, I'd never heard of that, bro. And I've seen some people spend bread.
Yeah, I mean, he's done some shit. You go look at East Bay Muscle Cars interior and go look at the cars he's done, DJ. He's won awards at SEMA. So maybe
I mean, that sounds like a Riddler car. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, because those are cars that's like $1 million car.
Yeah. My boy's not spending $1 million, but he's spending some money, but not $1 million. And like you said, you're a little low on your paint jobs. Those SEMA builds, with custom body work and fab work and paint jobs, you're looking at like 150,000 these days. Wow. I know someone had a car at SEMA. Wow. Yeah, I'm talking about when you start doing body mods though too, because you have to understand that's what costs a lot of money. Not if you're talking just straight paint, look like glass and all that, and no body mods. Yeah, about 50 G's probably right around there, 30 to 50.
But when you start talking about like metal fabrication, tucking the bumpers, recessed headlights, molded glass, all that shit.
Bumpers, all that. Yep. Now you're talking six figures. It's insane, bro.
Wow.
It's insane. You got to be a super baller to have that kind of car. I wouldn't do it because then you're gonna be scared to drive it. You're gonna be scared of paint chips.
Well, having gone to SEMA, you been to SEMA, Debo?
No, I haven't made it out there yet.
You go to SEMA, bro. It's kind of like it messes you up.
Yeah.
Because when you get home and you start looking at your shit, you're like, man, dude. And those guys at SEMA, bro. I mean, they're building cars for like, athletes and billionaires, millionaires. So you're talking like there's nothing untouched. And then when you try to compare that to your cars at home, or when you see cars at car shows, you get kind of jaded.
Yep. So what happened to me? I went to SEMA and I said, I'm gonna have a car here one day. Fuck that. I saw what I could have my car up. Not indoor, outdoor. I saw what I needed to do, what kind of car, what level, entry level to build on. And I did it. And I ended up at our cardio booth. I had my car outdoors, but there's badass lowriders there too, Debo, by the way. They got lowriders, trucks, they got everything. SEMA's a Super Bowl for all shows. So it's not just muscle cars, it's everything. Euros, they got Lambos, they got Raris, they got everything. New cars, you name it, they got it. SEMA's got it all. You get lost over there.
I tell her, you get lost. You can't see everything.
No.
You can't see everything.
It's hard. It's hard to see everything. Me and the wife spend 3 days there, and bro, I really just go to Hot Rod Alley. Yeah.
Hang out there, and then you can't even like the other hall where you don't even have time to go because there's so much stuff in Hot Rod Alley. You can stand in one car for like 2 hours and just be like just tripping off of all the different shit, you know what I mean? And the performance stuff, all the vendors. There's vendors, bro, that's like there's so many vendors you can't even you get stuck at a vendor for like 2 hours.
It's just wild. You got to go, man. It's definitely one of those treks that it's worth it to go, see what it's like. And like I said, there's everything. There's a lot of lowriders there too. They're invited to the party. You see them with their whips now. I mean, it's just a huge car community for everybody,
Yeah.
So what's me and Mike were talking about how like some of these dudes, they get somebody's car and they take a deposit, and then you go there like 6 months, a year later, the car's still sitting there. It's missing parts. I just had a homie. He said he went and dropped the Chevelle off. It's been there, he said, for like 8-9 months. He said then it was missing trim, side mirrors were gone. He told the dude, I'm about to smash you, bro. You better have, when I come back next week, you better have my parts back on my car, and I'm getting it out of here, or I'm going to have to put hands on you. What have you seen as far as just the disrespect? Because, people do it all the time, even in the supercar community. There's, these guys, I seen a guy, this guy spent $80,000 on a twin turbo 911 Porsche, getting the motor redone, the turbos, everything, and the motor blew like a month or two later, and then he got into it with the builder, and then he ended up selling the car because he lost all all interest, man, because he got beat up so bad on the build.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you can definitely fall out of love with your car just from your car being, in the care of a shop or, someone that you trust. And then, you come to find out that, the integrity of your car has been compromised because things from your car has now gone missing.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced it. Roof line and trim missing, moldings missing. Place where you got your car at, they're selling the parts off. It's a real thing. I mean, there were guys, in my car club who took their cars to certain shops. One guy, his car's been at the shop since 2000, and it's been painted 3 times. The last I spoke to the guy, his motor was missing. He had a custom. It was like a 350 motor. Brand new from the dealership, missing. Just shady stuff, man. Another dude I knew, he was building a 68 Impala. He said his hydraulics, he was upgrading everything, getting new paint, new hydraulics, but the old stuff, the old parts from the car, they were missing. The dumps, stuff like that. And this stuff, you can repurpose it because over time it accrues value. So when they go to these shops, they're looking at your stuff and like, hey, what can I sell? And like I said, if you're not one of those people who is known for instituting violence, they're going to play with you, And there's just one of the downsides of, building a car that people don't really address is that you're going to go through that pain of struggle where you'll be spending more money trying to play catch up for someone else's inconvenience or someone inconveniencing you by taking things off of your car that's setting your bill back. So you got to go and spend money, take your car out of the shop, go to a different shop, and then reestablish a relationship with someone with the hopes that they don't victimize you, So that's why, when people like, man, I paid this much. Those $100,000 bills are because that car was built at 2 shops, sometimes 3, 4 shops. So every time you go to a new shop, now it's a new bill, and it might be a little bit more because you're not paying for talent. Now you're paying for trust, and this is why relationships matter. Because if you don't have a good relationship, 9 times out of 10, that person's gonna play you. They say that people do good business with people who they respect, and most times in the lowrider space, it's more disrespect than it is respect. So you have people figuring out, all right, how can I go and seek validation from disrespect? That's why the corruption is so widespread, man. Everybody, the self-esteem, it's already been fragmented. So they're trying to figure out, how can I get in the good graces so I don't get played? No, you're going to get played. It's just how you're going to respond to getting played. Are you going to play it the hard way and go to the end zone, or are you going to quit? Most dudes do quit because it takes a long time.
You made a great point there. And, I was telling Mike that going forward, I always try to talk to somebody who's had their car at that shop previously, to see how they were treated. And, not just one, but maybe 2 or 3 customers, and whether or not they would come back. Like I've seen some shops where the guy said like, I bought 3 cars from these guys, or if I've actually had them build 3 cars. That says a lot. If somebody's had a shop build 3 cars and they're working on a 4th, like I've heard from Roaster Shop, the guy's like, oh yeah, I got 3 Roaster Shop cars. I'm like, that tells me these guys are upstanding, good dudes. They're on point. Like I was listening to them, a guy who had them build some cars. Then I've heard a guy was saying who had a Revology Mustang. He had he's purchased or had them build 3 cars. And then you have shops where, like you said, you go in there and they got one nice car, and that's like almost like their bait. You see that car, you're like, I wanted my car like that. And they sell you on that. But that car right there is from some disgruntled customer that they haven't told him his car's done, and they're using that to fish more people in so they can continue the Ponzi scheme. And so, you know, you got to really know. And I've seen some shops, bro. They got cars of good guys. They you know, they're expanding. You're like, how are these people still in business, bro? When they're doing people and they're telling somebody this is the bill, and then you look at the bill and you look at the hours. You like, dude, you mean to tell me they really put this many? You got to be kidding me. You guys aren't even open this many hours, you know? So it's a lot of basically fuckery in the game, bro. And these people, you know, I don't know how they sleep at night, but they do. And they're dealing with people with money and resources, you know. And like you said, you can't just do that to anybody. Because I know some people who just go to your house. They'll follow you. They'll just go to your house and show up while you're having dinner, man. You know what I mean? And make something happen.
Listen,
I think more that needs to happen, man, because these owners, these shop people are just doing us dirty left and right, man. They need to get pieced up, man, because this is getting out of control, man. This has gotta stop. I'm sure same shit that happens to us in the muscle car community happens in the lowrider community. But I can tell you this: one thing about the lowrider community, there's more dudes about that life than there is in the muscle car community, if you know what I mean.
well, the muscle cars and the lowriders all go to the same shops. When you have those customers who are spending a lot of money, because this is the thing, like when Herc was talking about that showroom vehicle that they use, that's the honey car. That's the one that's attracting all the bees. They get your car, and what they do is they start to segment, you know, where the work is going to go. So your car, you're paying for your car to be built at this shop, but pieces of your car are at different shops, because the person who you contracted to do the work, he can't do the work. He's just a spokesman. He don't really have no talent. He's taking your car to another shop to get the body work done. Then it's going to go to another shop to get painted. They got another shop that's going to have the mechanic. And then that's another thing. That's where parts start missing too. Every time your car go to a different shop, you're dealing with a different crook. And then you got to think too, a lot of these mechanics, they're not really getting paid the way they should. So how else are they going to eat?
Yeah.
They know the value of these car parts. So it's a black market in there. They're going to sell your stuff so they can eat. It's a dirty game.
Yeah, you know what? What you just said is exactly on point. I knew a guy. This guy had a shop, and he had a couple honeycombs: Lamborghini Diablo, Ferrari 458, these different cars. You know, Porsche GT, all these cars, right? And he would go to the car show, and he had a Master honeycomb car he would drive up in, you know, and that car would be what he would use to lure the people to the honeycomb, right? And then so I'm getting some work done on an Acura NSX. I'm getting my motor machined, right? And getting it dart sleeved in the block. Now this dude apparently is taking his car. He's taking his motors to the same shop, and then once he gets the car apart, he's asking the dude who's machining it, does he know somebody who can put the motor back together? And I'm like, dude, this guy's done took apart a $300,000 car and then doesn't really know how to put it back together. And like you said, parts are going all over the city, and somebody's at home waiting for their car, don't know that the guy who has their car really doesn't even know how to finish the car, but he started. And he's a spokesman. He's not, he acts like he's a mechanic, but he's not a real mechanic. So it's crazy, man. Like, you know, you see that and it's like, dude, and that's in the supercar community, you know, exotic car community. And I've dealt with it in the muscle car community. Mike's dealt with it. And, you know, a lot of times now I just really watch YouTube and I look for interviews to try to find when I do get ready to do my next build. You know, I'm damn near probably going to go across the country and deal with somebody in the Midwest because them dudes seem like they have more integrity. You know, Alabama, Tennessee, those guys who used to work in NASCAR, they got a different moral compass than a lot of these dudes I've seen out here on the West Coast, man.
Hey, listen, I know a guy.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's a Caucasian dude, one of the best in the country. You know, you're going to spend some money but everything is at his house. You know, it's no
Yeah, so
shop.
he's not hiding.
It's no shop, no traffic coming in. You know, yeah, no shady people. You know, who are looking at your car and touching things. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely link you.
Yeah, that's almost what you gotta look for these days. I mean, I used to have a guy who worked at his home, and I never had a problem with this dude, bro. I'm so sad when he moved because all my cars I took to his house, and dude, you go there, pick him up. I would leave, never have a problem. I was buying and selling cars at the time. He was fixing them up so I can, flip them. And the dude had integrity. He didn't blow no smoke up my ass. I mean, good dude, man, but it's hard, like you said, to find that person, and you're really paying for a relationship because as far as like finding somebody, there's a lot of shops, and a lot of these shops, bro. You look at how they're running them, man, and they're running them, and these shops is like they're a joke. It's no structure.
No, because you got to realize you're dealing with a lot of, when you deal with these shops, you're dealing with street people. Half these guys, they got a 7th, 8th grade education. So they don't really know how to run a business. They don't know the science behind business. They know how to hustle. That's your surviving mechanism. All right, let me hustle. Let me out-talk this person. And the better they are, strategic communication, they think they're smarter than you. And they just know how to get your money. But at the end of the day, when it comes to car, it's all about not how much money you spend, but can you actually execute the obligation of finishing a build? And that's the difference. That's why when you go to like Barrett Jackson, SEMA, those cars cost a lot of money because those guys committed to finishing those cars. They have hundreds, sometimes thousands of hours in these cars, and they finish them. And that's the reward, is finishing what you said you were going to do. Most of these guys don't know how to finish because they don't have the skill set to do so.
What I know we were talking before, and you said like and Mike has said it too, that in the lowrider community, outside of the exotic car or supercar, a dude might do a little cussing. I'm gonna take you to court. But in the lowrider community, they're going to hold court right there, and you've seen guys hold court. What if some of the, letting these dudes know out here how serious it is? What have you heard or, been around that, you don't want to play with some of these dudes when it comes to them in their cars, because that's like, dude, that's like a part of their soul.
Man, I mean, I've seen, street demonstrations from coast to coast. From LA to Miami. First time I seen a dude get into it with a guy behind the car. I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And this is a Coconut Grove. And these are two dudes from like 2 prominent street gangs in Miami. And someone wound up getting stabbed, real bad. That was one time. The second time was I was in Las Vegas. And this guy, he was from Compton, and he had paid someone from the car club that was hosting the event that I was at to work on his car. And his car, it took a long time. And the guy told him, he's like, hey, man, I it's been a long time. I want to get this car, and I guess because that guy was from a car club that was from a notorious gang in Southern California, he was kind of leveraging his gang to disrespect this dude. But that guy, unbeknownst, was from a big street organization as well. And he brought his little homies up there. And these dudes were shooters. And they was not playing. And, it went from handshakes to hugs to everybody on the ground ducking slugs. These dudes were shooting. Yeah, they came, and it was no joke, bro. It was one of the realest. It was like a movie, man. You know what I'm saying? These dudes came all the way from Cali, man.
Wow.
It was another time, I mean, shout out to my Northern Cali brothers, out there in Sacramento. A dude, he was being disrespectful. And I don't want to say the club, but this car club, they not to be played with, man. They got Northern Cali on lock, man. And homie came with like 1,000 bloods, man. from Sacramento.
Damn.
And I'm talking,
Yep,
bro,
a lot of bloods inside.
yo, and this man is a peaceful man, but he's loved in the streets, man. He came like 1,000 bloods. I didn't even know it was bloods like that in Sacramento. And these dudes is grimy, man. Like, these dudes don't even low ride. They just shooters. And I seen how the dude just squeezed up, like, you know, he's a street guy, but, you know, if you're not, it's one thing to be respected, but when you love, like, people really love you, you don't know what a person might do behind that person you disrespect. You don't, and you won't see it coming. But yeah, my man came with like 1,000 bloods, man, to Vegas, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, man? We gonna get the situation straightened out with you and one of my homies." And dude was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." It went from, you know, the foul talk over the internet to, "Oh yeah, yes sir, yeah." You know what I'm saying? And when that dude went and pulled that shirt up and was about to squeeze, you know, his temperature changed and the tone of the conversation changed. So I seen some real gangsters. You know, these are people you'll never hear about. You won't see them on the internet. They're not on these podcasts where these guys are talking about. These are real people, and they only show up for the nonsense, the real violence. They live for it. So, like you saying, the disparity between the muscle car and the lowrider game, because it's still so heavily entrenched in the streets, and not even the streets, in the prisons. Somebody could send a word through a prison from jail. This is how real it is, man. It's real. And that's why a lot of people they're scared to low ride because they know, like, you never know.
Yeah.
You gotta a lot of people don't know this too, but when I was in the low riding game, and there's people in the muscle car game that are ballers. You get it twisted. There's people that move dope in the muscle car game, but the low rider game, a lot of motherfuckers are moving dope and they're doing a lot of big heavy transactions. So basically, the president of my club, Mark, left Cali, moved to Hawaii, started a chapter out there with Uso. Short story, basically, feds got him. He's the biggest dude on the island. 50-person indictment. They were shipping shit from Hawaii to Cali to Samoa to Australia. They were doing it big. You know what I'm saying? He's balling, you know, out of control out there with that meth shit, with the crystal. But a lot of ballers, and there's a lot of behind the scenes shit that goes on the Lowrider game, and they're connected to the streets. 100%, I do know that. Even if your gang is not affiliated, even if your club is not affiliated with a gang, somebody in that club is affiliated with some street goons, 100%, because they're in the game somehow, affiliation, and it's a phone call away. So that I do know. I do remember that. We were always affiliated with the Bloods and the Pyrus and our mother chapter. A lot of Samoans over there, they're Pyrus. So I do remember that because we're always protected. They say, hey, if you Northern Cali guys come down, you Bay boys, don't worry. Our boys got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got you. Don't even trip. Because I was like kind of a young kid. Like, I'm from Frisco. I'm from the Mission. I'm actually from Frisco. I'm like, man, I don't want to be out here thinking I'm set tripping on their hood. But like, nah, they got you. Don't even trip. And he shows everything. Went to the Super Show. I never see so many gang members in one place in my life when I went to LA Super Show. I was like 18, 19 years old. All Sureños. My people are Norteños. They're the red, the blue. I was like, holy. And they're like, don't trip. Because our shirt said Uso, San Francisco chapter. But the head dude, Keto, was like, don't trip, man. We got you guys. They know you're not gang banging. I was like, you sure, bro? Because these motherfuckers like 1,000 deep out here. You know what I'm saying? It was a crazy fucking experience to be at. Being a Bay boy and being out in LA to the Super Show and what I saw out there. Like, just, you could tell. It was just the tension in the air, bro. You could cut it with a knife.
Now, Keita, that was like one of my closest homies, man. You know?
You knew Keita?
Man, listen, man. Keita's like a brother, father, godfather.
Yep.
We was real tight, man. And our relationship was deep to the point where when he had a stroke, he couldn't talk. You know, up until his time he transitioned. He would make sure he called me every year for my birthday and have his wife wish me a happy birthday. He couldn't even talk. That was one of my best friends in this game, man. And I was saying life, you know. Keita, not many people built like him, man. This is a dude that used to run with Eazy-E and Kid Frost. He was their security guard. Played professional football. A real legend, bro. In the entertainment world and on the streets. You know what I'm saying? He brought everybody together. He brought Bloods, Crips, the Ku Klux Klan, everybody together, bro. And they would die for this man. I swear to God.
Yep. That dude's my dude, man. He true story, when I was like 18, 19 years old, I was down in LA looking for an Impala. Let me and my boy stay at his own pad, made us a little bed, let us stay there, everything. Here's a key, man. You guys want to go out, man? No one in my life ever gave me that kind of hospitality, but he looked out like a father figure. He was solid because I was a young dude from Frisco. I'm on LA, and he's like, just be careful. Make sure you call me if something jumps off somewhere. If somebody harasses you, let them know you know me. And just a solid fucking dude. That's who started. I started the chapter with his cousin in Frisco, the Uso Car Club. We're part of the first 5 chapters with a boy named Rich Lee Lau, same last name as him, and then Mark was his cousin too, the one that went and dipped off to Hawaii. But yeah, he was solid, bro. Keto's a love dude, bro.
Nah,
Solid.
man.
I think it's still the biggest car club out there.
Yeah, it still is the biggest. Yeah, nah, he definitely had the biggest car club, man. You know, and everywhere. This is a guy that you know, in the Samoan culture, you know, the way that they you know, they have open affection, you know, with each other. They'll kiss each other on the cheeks. So that's how he greets you. He'll kiss you on the cheek. And I'm talking gangsters, dog. He'll kiss you right on your cheek. I watched this guy. What's up, Big Oos? I love you, Big Oos.
So I'll tell you. I'll tell you a story. Something happened. We're at San Francisco at the Cow Palace car show. We're deep, and we always show it out deep. Whenever there's a car show, all the chapters showed up. We're deep. Somebody did something to a member of ours, and fuck, all hell broke loose, man. We Samoans in my chapter, I don't want to say who, just got heated and it popped off. It popped off heavy where the dude was on stage. I don't remember the head of the Lowrider magazine, dude. He said, come on, Uso, do better, do better. We were smashing motherfuckers left and right. I forgot who disrespected one of our members, but it got ugly. It got real violent. No one got killed, but it got ugly. That's when they saw the power. And Keita felt embarrassed after that. Keita felt really embarrassed because he had to answer to the Lowrider. You know, the owner of the Lowrider magazine is like, yo, man, my bad. You know, we don't get down like that, but somebody disrespected one of our youngins and shit just popped off. It was ugly. Man, shit was crazy.
See, now look at this right here. You guys have never met, and look at how smart a car community is. See what I'm saying? This shit is not crazy. People think like, you know, the game you can get over and F people and nothing to happen, bro. No. All I gotta make a call is to Debo or ask Mike, and between Arizona, California, all the way to Florida, I'll find out. Yeah, I can find out some shit. You know what I mean? That's how small it is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You could definitely make one phone call and a person's whole resume will be right there, like, you know. And this is why I say, you know, be mindful how you treat people, because a person won't think twice, you know, when it comes time to expose you or dispose you, you know. And you know, this game is small. So, you know, if you win it, you know, treat it with love and care, because you just never know who you might need tomorrow. I mean, I done been all over the country, man, all over California, Vegas, Texas, Chicago, Detroit, you know, up and down the East Coast. I done met everybody that's somebody, you know. And I know who's real, who's fake, and I know who's a real G and a wannabe.
You got to have them type of contacts. And I always tell people, I said, man, you know, if you are who you say you are, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. But, you know, if you're out here and, you know, just like on this internet, man, and you making up stories and you saying this and that, dude, I get emails. It's like, dude, where'd that guy say he was from? What year was he there? Blah, 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 blah. Or what is it? I mean, dude, it's like you get exposed. And so, you know, you gotta really have some integrity these days. And it ain't, you know, lying, you know, a guy used to lie back in the day, but you lie now. Some people make it their life mission to bust you out, to expose your ass. So you're better off, you know, just keeping it 100. I know you're working on a Lowrider right now. What are you working on, man? What kind of car are you working on? And what would you say is the most coveted cars, you know, top 5 in the Lowrider community?
Well, you know, I still have my Cutlass. It's currently at Scrape House Customs out in Maryland. Shout out to my brother Dana. I would say right now, as far as like top 5, definitely, you know, anywhere but I would say from a 56 to 64 Impala. Those years. Those are like the most sought out years of, you know, Impalas and just overall lowriders, you know, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. Those are the vehicles that You know, if you want to make a statement, you want to let people know, hey, man, my nuts hang. That's the difference between the men and the boys, you know. And Snoop said it best, if it ain't a Chevy, don't raise it up. So, you know, we all have, you know, we got to start somewhere, but I think everyone who low rides, you aspire to get into that bow tie category. And, you know, when John Singleton did Boys in the Hood, he changed the game. You know, when we see Ice Cube in that 63, man, listen, everybody wants, still to this day, a 63 rat convertible. You know, LeBron James, I mean, my boy just built a car for LeBron James, a 63 Impala, you know, called Boys in the Hood. Yeah. So, you know, I would say that's, you know, just to answer your question, top 5, 61, 63, 64, 59, 57. Yeah, those are usually like,
true.
And just based off of resale value as well. These are cars that are going to always be repurposed. You know, whether in the lowrider space or just in the, you know, the classic car collection community.
Is that what you would pick too, Mike, as far as top 5?
Yeah, he's right. Because I too, I was a young dude, but I wasn't on that level. I eventually had a 63 Impala, but at first I started with a Cutlass. I had an 84 Cutlass Supreme, 10 batteries. 6 batteries, 10 switches from back side to side. Burgundy, Ghost Graphics. I had the velour top with the small window in the back. 13.7 Roadsters with the cap. I couldn't afford the gold Daytons, you know. So you make do, you know. That's like he says, entry levels, different levels in the lowrider game. And then you graduate to like the big boy shit, like the Impalas. And now when you got an Impala all tricked out and decked out, now you're playing with the big boy shit. But he's right. You got to start something with levels. For me, yeah, it would be. I'm not really a 58 kind of guy. I like the 61 through 64, and I do like the 59s. I like the eyes in the 59. 60 is cool, but I like the 59s, the cat eyes. But
I like that 61 bubble top.
That's because you know what we would do with that in the muscle car community.
Ooh, the bubble top, bro. That to me, and make that thing I would make it a goddamn a monster hot rod, dude. I'd be killing them because it's classy. It's got the low rider, but it's also muscle car and it's a Chevy. Yeah, dude, you pull up in the 61 bubble top, clean with the glass. Oh my god, bro, you shitting on them. You shitting on them.
Yep. Put some 20s all the way around.
Oh man,
put a supercharged 427 LSX 6-speed baby
with a roaster shop chassis or Art Morrison.
You're going. That's just 6. You got it on the ground.
Yeah,
coilovers just looking pretty with 20s all the way around.
Wherever you take that car, there would be a crowd because somebody old school growing up was like, bro, I remember my grandfather or my cousin or that's just, you know, you can't lose that car. You can't lose. That's one of the cars. If I want to eventually build on the road, but that's 61. You don't see a lot of them for sale either.
No.
Oh no.
I know. Hey, by the way, real quick before I forget why you're on here, if you're ever looking for Impalas, bro, and you guys are searching and you need, I got a dealer for you. It's called he's my guy on Instagram. I never did business, but everything I've heard and the feedback's been good. And I'm friends with him on Instagram. I think it's called Impala's Midwest Deals. He be having good ones. He has a 61 for sale right now, Herc, actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, my money gets up there right, man. I'm gonna snatch one from him. But I want a 61 too. Yeah, I want a 61 too. That's on my bucket list too. 63s are cool, 62s are cool, but I like the smaller body with the 61 because you could move better with that car versus a longer body. You know, hit those corners better. You know, shorter body. And you know what's funny is back in the 90s. The 61 Impala was like, no one wanted them. They looked at them like ugly ass cars. Nobody in the low riding community wanted a 61. They looked at them like, oh, that's an ugly body style. Short. It's not long. It's not long like the 6 63, 64, 65. They weren't respected like that. Now 61s, whoo, good luck finding them. And if you find them, you're gonna pay a pretty penny.
Well, you know, Charles Clayton, when he came out with the 8-ball back in 1990, you know, I think there was like a game changer. I mean, we saw it in Steady Mama with Ice Cube. I forgot the dude who owned the car. He was a black guy from Compton. But yeah, it wasn't, the 61 wasn't like the go-to car in the 90s. But like I said, I think when Charles came out with that 8-ball, people, he had a following already, you know, just being in like all those rap videos. When they saw, you know, people saw it, they're like, oh yeah, I want to get a 61. But 61, I think just from like the classic car community, because you know, lowrider dudes about the money. So if the value's high, they're gonna go get it. So I think because the 61 was such a go-to car in the muscle car community and the classic collectible community, that's why it became the go-to car. But people are like, you know, let me buy this, pimp this out, and then sell it for, you know, 100,000. Because you know the Japanese were coming out there to Cali, they were buying up all those, you know, 60 Chevys
all day.
Yeah.
I remember. I had a lot of boys who sell their cars to the Japanese, fix them up, build them, and just take them to Long Beach to the port, and the Japanese will pull up and cash out and pay you extra. You don't want to sell it locally, sell it to them. They'll pay. To this day, they'll still buy your car. They'll buy your muscle car if you can find the right one. You know what I'm saying? They're car fanatics out there. People don't know, but I think Uso has a chapter in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I thought they opened up a chapter in Japan. I don't know. But Japanese are about that life. This dude right here, let me show you who I'm talking about. So if you guys, if you're ever looking for Impalas, bro, that guy, Midwest deals, and seems to have a good reputation. He's fair price too, because sometimes I show him cars that are priced in Cali. He's like, ooh, too much. People always put like another 10 G's extra here in Cali, bro.
Yeah. Cali is where you sell. You can't. Yeah, you got to get out of state. I mean, I watch a lot of these guys, and both of the barn finds are in Cali.
There's your 61 right there, Herky.
Oh, wow.
Clean.
Oh, that's clean, too.
Clean, basic, yeah. He finds them, bro. That's what he does.
Oh, wow.
I think he's asking 51. I got to go look at what he's asking for. And who would have thunk it? A fucking 61 Impala hardtop going for 51 grand. You would have told me that in the 90s, like, yeah, get out of here. You're crazy. These cars are probably going for like 10 G's back then, maybe 15 at most.
And nobody paid attention to him, bro. If you just had a warehouse and stacked them up,
trust me. I'd go back in time. I'd snatch those up, and he always got Impalas. Got 58s. He's got 59s. He gets them. He sold one for like 200,000 a 58, clean one.
Damn,
that one's clean. Look at it, basic. Yeah, he got him. Yeah, I forgot what he's asking for.
What is your social media, Debo, so people can find you, man, if they want to tap in with you?
Well, you know, my IG handle is Debo the Don TV, 5DON TV, and I'm also on YouTube.
Okay.
Debo the Don TV, D-B.
Okay, cool.
Debo. And, Debo the Don TV, that's you?
You see that? That's me. Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to follow you. All right, I'm going to give you a follow. Cool, that's me. I just followed you. Mike's Classics and more.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. So, Mike, we racing to the finish line, bro. My mechanic, he called me trying to like, oh, man, when's your birthday? Oh, I'm going to have your car done for your birthday. I'm going to be able to fire it up next week. So I told the wife, you know what, man, I'm not going to get my hopes up until I actually get in the car. But, saying, he's talking that game. It's supposedly that all the lights and everything come on. The dash is on. Everything is ready to turn over. So I'll see, bro. But nice. I'm hopefully this May, I'll be in my car. I'll have my car. And I just contacted my painter. And he's going to clean up all the little shit I paid him, because I paid him like 6 racks to do some shit, and he didn't do what he's supposed to, so I got to take it back to him. But hopefully the end of May, we both have our cars. We'll be able to start doing some photo shoots and some stuff in June. Debo, hopefully we catch you. I'll let you know when you come. When you come out here to Cali or the West Coast, we'll link up and do some more car talk, bro. I want to have you on here again. I appreciate your insight on the lowrider community.
Yeah.
And Mike, it's always a great conversation. But yeah, man, we're gonna be chopping it up and sharing this stuff, man. People love hearing about it because I know there's a lot of stories out there, and we got to put it out there, man, so people know, because a lot of times, people feel embarrassed, and I know the best way to get over what you've been through, because we're all passionate guys. We love our cars. We're not tricking off on the hookers and drugs. So this is our drug of choice, know? So, yeah, man, thank you for coming on, bro. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Nice meeting you, Debo. And we're chopping up some more, man. I know you got more crazy stories I want to hear.
Oh, man, many more, man. We're going to, we'll connect, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you guys. BigHerc916. Mike Escobar, Debo, Car Talk episode 5.
Let's go.
All right.
Peace.
Just got through watching with the car podcast with me and Mike Escobar. Go to Muscle Up Car Lifestyle YouTube. Links in the description. Subscribe. Over there, I talk about nothing but cars, but I want to keep you guys in the loop over here on BigHerc916. So make sure you go to Muscle Up Car Lifestyle YouTube and subscribe for my Nothing But Car channel.